streets of Chicago, live and direct. It's the Rico No Suave Show, starring Rico No Suave, with co-host Valerie Malesio, featuring special guests every Saturday. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Rico No Suave. Ritmo.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's your boy Rico No Suave here on the 1-2-1-2, ready to go with each and every one of you guys. Man, I am back. I am happy, and I feel strong right now. Woo! Yeah, after that intro, I tell you, boy, the kettlebells work out for me one day. I tell you. So welcome, everybody. Welcome back. It is the 12th of Febrero, man. It's already here, halfway here on February, and I am happy to be back with each and every one of you guys, and I hope you guys are happy to be back with us as well, too. You know who's also happy to be back with us? My girl, Valerie Malesio. What's up, Valerie? What's
Feliz
going
sábado,
on?
mi gente.
All right.
I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful weather outside. You know, I always got to make a comment on weather because I have to drive in to the loft. And it's just beautiful outside today.
Yeah,
it really,
nice.
really is.
It's
Valentine's
nice.
Day weekend. I'm
Yes.
rocking a little bit of the red.
Yes. And I like it too because, you know, it's sunshining now. And, you know, sometimes when it's just too gloomy, I'm like, please let the sun shine in like the Flintstones. That's what I'm talking about.
It's beautiful outside.
It is.
Are you grilling
beautiful.
today?
Not yet. No,
Still not
no.
grilling
Can't
weather?
do the Bill Cosby. Can't do that yet. Can't do the Bill Cosby. Well, welcome everybody. You already know it is another great day here on the Rico No Suave Show. So I want you guys to continue to stay with us because you know why? We do have, everyone, our social media. So let's go over our social media real quick. www.riconosuaveshow.com is where you'll find all of our information, all of our great stuff that you are always looking for, like our previous shows. Yeah, like
Fun
our
stuff.
photos. What else?
Fun stuff, past shows. From the beginning to the end. You'll see it from 4 years ago until now.
Right. Yes, we are coming up on 4 years, aren't we? Yeah, man, I tell you, time fly by fast when you're having a lot of interview fun. I tell you. Yeah, so make sure you go to our website and also follow us there as well. Here we go, the next one. Boom! El Rico No Suave Show. That's our official account. Make sure you go there and follow us. Do it now. Follow us now. Don't wait. Do it now. Yes, at Rico No Suave Show on Instagram. All right. Here's the next one. Oh, welcome back, Facebook. Yes, Facebook at Rico No Suave Show. Yes, so make sure you please go and check us out. Rico No Suave Show on Facebook, everybody. That's where we're at.
Love.
Valentine's Day. That's what it's all about. Yeah, show us some love. I like that. Show us some love as far as on Valentine's Day, Facebook. Here's the next one. Oh, our YouTubers. Oh, yeah. We go YouTube Live, baby. YouTube Live. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Rico No Suave Show, as well. All right, here's the next one.
Mixcloud.
Mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. Yes, that is, of course, that's where we were. That's where we're still at. And that's where we're going to continue to be. So make sure you actually follow us there on Mixcloud. We do have some great music for you guys as well, too, that we'll have from previous DJs. So we love uploading. And also, you can, if you're a podcaster, you know, once this show is actually over and you want to listen to it in your car, you're able to do so. Make sure you sign up. It's for free. So make
It's a
sure
free
you do
account.
that. Yep.
Get that account because we do have shows on Mixcloud. I know I say this in every episode, but we do have shows on Mixcloud that are exclusive to Mixcloud.
Yes.
So make sure you get your account, so when we have those guest DJs or performances, you'll be able to tune in with us live.
That's right. That's what she said. All right, everybody. So that is our social media. Okay, let's get this on. All right, so, you know, the breaking news, everyone, this is a good one. I want to big shout out to my man Tino Tino Malesio, for actually throwing this at me, because, I love when, you guys throw stuff that we need to talk about because we have this platform. But it's very important that you guys actually have whatever you want for us to be able to discuss. We'll do that in the breaking news, especially if it's affecting the world. All right, so let's run that break. So this guy, Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan has been hitting the scene big time in regards to, podcasting. And of course, he came out with a little bit of, let me just give you guys as far as what I think about Joe Rogan. The first thing, whenever someone asks me about, hey, so you have a talk show? I'm like, yeah, I have a talk show. I'm trying to get that Joe Rogan money, right? And that's the first thing I say, because you look at Joe Rogan as this guy that has $100 million with Spotify. And one of the things is that when you hear about someone like him, you kind of look up to someone like that, of achieving goals, but also have been into the sports arena, talk about diet, have really great interviews with celebrities.
He's got a position of power.
He has a good power.
He really does.
Yeah, and he does. And it takes time, right? It builds over time. And one of the things that I really love about him is that he does talk about, health and fitness, but he also talks about other things. He does crack jokes in regards to like things that he may seen as far as relationships, or an over-rounded guy. So when I heard about the 100 million, I clapped my hands. I said, okay, from now on, that's going to be kind of like my role model, besides Trevor Noah, Jimmy Fallon, and all those guys, as far as those footsteps. But from where he's coming from, it made a big difference. So let's go to that next slide. So there was India Irie came up, and, of course, if you don't know who she is an awesome, unique, how can I say it, beautiful singer. Right?
Amazing
I
artist.
love the way she talks about natural things, right? About the earth, about life, and she really comes out as being that unique person. So India Irie is an R&B singer. I say also neo soul, and she brought up to, and we can go to the next slide. And this was, she doubles down as far as on boycotting Spotify and goes against Joe Rogan over the N-word use. Now, the reason why she came up is because a lot of other people have came up and heard that there was the N-word that, of course, back in days of slavery, and as far as what, the Caucasian will actually call, someone of a minority status. And also, it becomes a slang also within the minority community of actually calling each other, hey, what's up, my N? Hey, N, please, right? And it became a joke within the minority status. But when someone of a different culture or outside of the culture will say that word, we say it with an A. When you say it with an ER, sometimes people don't realize that there's a big difference when you actually say it that way, right? But also, should it be said? No, because we know what the term about it is a negatory. It's negative, right? And it's something that should never be said, even within the culture and also without the culture, because we know exactly what that means. So
yes, the community as a whole, and everybody's trying to get better.
Bingo.
You know what I mean? Just better at how we speak and talk to each other, So I think this was, and there's really not a whole lot you can say until you watch it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But the topic came up, and he was getting pulled from support.
Yes.
So it was brought to everybody's attention.
Yep.
And again, I think we should just kind of run it.
So I don't have the video. So
you don't have the video.
No, I don't have the video. I just posted this because I didn't want to take too much time in regards to, this situation. I just want to give a brief overview in regards to our thoughts on it, because this N-word in his podcast was used 24 times. And they cut it up into 24 different clips of what he actually had.
Different shows.
Right,
and the way she laid it out. And then there was some additional commentary about how he felt walking into a community or to a party.
And that's what I'm going to next. Yep.
That was, there was not a white person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And how he described that room.
Right.
So I'm going to let you take that.
So the N-word, N-word on that was was pulled out, and then a lot of artists heard about this, so they start pulling their music. They say, if you don't cancel him, then we're gonna take our music off.
Right.
Okay, Spotify went to Joe Rogan and said, hey, we got to pull your content off of Spotify, and they also came back with, hey, we'll pay you this amount of money. And I need to clarify this, but I heard it through the grapevine that there was a way of getting him off of Spotify. It's getting too big for him to be able to have that 100 million and then for him to be able to talk like this. Where you're going as far as what Tino actually sent me this, he actually sent me a video saying that this was a while ago. Where
it's in the same video.
Yeah, it's in the same video.
Right.
But this was his podcast of this was with him and maybe his staff member or someone that was a guest on the show. They were talking about, I went to a friend's party and my guy was like, yeah, I'm going to take you over to a party. He said, oh, okay, cool. I'm thinking it's going to be diversified or whatsoever. And then when I finally get there, it was like the Planet of the Apes. And I'm like, what? Planet of the Apes? What do you mean by that? I'm trying to decipher when he said that, but he's like, yeah, there was not one Caucasian there. And it was like the Planet of the Apes. And we know back in the day when it comes to talking about monkeys and gorillas and, human beings, they were talking about blacks.
Right.
Someone of color, right? And that right there took me just above than just using the N-word. The N-word was kind of being used a lot where people was like, okay, well, we know this person is racist. But when you start talking about humans versus to animals, and comparing those and saying you're just a wild ape or a wild gorilla or a wild monkey that's in the jungle and just going crazy and going wild. When you say that going to a party, you're actually saying that I'm going to the jungle where there is gorillas and apes and things like that. That right there made me feel a different way about Joe Rogan. And what I want to say about this is, and you can go to the next slide if there's a next slide, but India Irie, after the N-word, he apologized and she forgave him because of that. But I don't know if it was for fame or if it was just to clear the air for him because they didn't want to cancel him because he is an icon. But sometimes you might have to be canceled for a little bit in order for you to get there. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I got my man here with me. But what I want to say is that there is a certain level of disrespect. I don't care how big you are. And there's other role models that's actually looking up to you when it comes to situations like this. And this bothers me when it comes to, and we're in Black History Month, right?
Right.
And for you to be able to be going through January into February with something like this basically tells, people of color that, hey, we have to take a stand in regards to things like this that's being said about culture, right, in general. So
lots of different feedback on this. There's a lot of running different emotions when it comes to this situation.
Yes.
And how people approach it. You said you were a big fan.
Yes.
Or are a big fan of him.
Yes.
So, of course, when you see it, like, come on, man. Like, you want to look for the good.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
right.
when you have it laid out the way she laid it out, it's just like, how do you make this situation better? Like,
right.
Can you come out and apologize and just call it a day? How do we want to see changed behavior? You know what I mean? Like, at what point are you trying to ask for passes for your behavior and then expect for your audience to still tune in with you without feeling some sort of way, or working for that same company that also has, people like India Ari who says, you know what? I'll take the dollar away then. I'm not going to do it. You're paying this guy XYZ money.
Yep.
And he's allowed to be this disrespectful to myself and our community.
Yep.
And then you're paying, not that it's solely a money thing, but hey, I'll keep my money. I'm dignifying my dollar.
Yep.
So I feel like there's a lot of that there's a lot of that now where you can't just run off at the mouth and say things like that without thinking about what you're saying first. It just...
certain privileges, things like that comes up, and it's sad. But that's what it is, everybody. And there's nothing we can say else about it except, there is things that we have to be careful about what you say when it comes to racism, religion, discrimination, and things like that. I don't care how big you are. It doesn't matter how big when we get big. as well too.
It's accountability.
It's accountability.
You have to be accountable for what you say and do.
That is the word.
And if it's a learning curve.
Yep.
Go back and fix it.
That's right.
So check out the video, guys. We'd love to hear your feedback on it. If you want to watch that video and inbox the show, that would be great.
You know what? Inbox the show, because I got a weightlifter here. I got a bodybuilder next to me that feels like I want to throw some security in this. You know what I mean? All right, everybody. Hey, I want to actually introduce this guy, man. Really, really cool guy, man. And I have to say, just by, and I know you guys, hopefully you guys saw the flyers, but you already know this man got muscles. And I don't want to mess around with him because I want to be his friend, right? I want to stay his friend. My man is all about dietary nutrition, but also he's all about competition and winning. And he also have won recently that Mr. USA. He is also called Mr. Titan. The professional builders in the house on the Rico No Suave Show. I want you guys to stand up, lift some dumbbells, do some clean and press, drop the weights, put your hands together for none other than my man, Rob Brown. Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Rob?
What's good?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing really good.
Man, good to see you, man.
Glad I got the chance to come in and be on your show.
Yes, sir, man. A lot of people, has been waiting, right? They've been seeing the flyers, right? So, I'm like, I said, ladies, be careful, right? Be careful. You might get the arm twitch in the camera, right?
Just saying. They're real, ladies.
But I'm so happy that you're here, man. I'm so happy that you're here. Let's get right into this interview, man. So, bodybuilding. What made you get into bodybuilding?
Well, like many years ago, I was supposed to go to college to play football. And becoming a father at a young age, I decided, the different circumstances not to go. And I kind of got bored, so I started going to a gym here in Waukegan, Illinois. Met a couple of people and said, you look like you have good genetics to try to compete. And so I got into it to just do one show. Okay. And I ended up taking second place. Oh, wow. And one of the reasons that I was told that I got second place is because I didn't put the tanning stuff on. And after that, I got the bug. So I've been in it ever since 1996.
All right.
As a matter of fact.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I love how that kind of shifted gears.
Yeah.
You said you started off wanting to play professional ball, and it kind of, you just switched it up a bit and ended up finding equal passion for something else.
Yeah, fitness is where it is,
Yeah.
with the genetics of African American, with the high blood pressure, the diabetes and things like that. It was one of the things that I wanted to address because I did end up with high blood pressure. And with that being said, I started training, nutrition, and I haven't really been sick in almost 20 years. So
right. Good for you, man.
Wow.
Good for you. So, the ladies going crazy already on comments. They saying Patty Escobar says it's a gun show, right? The guns. Daisy 24 says one word, Mr. Brown. Wow. So they started already, which is good. Keep it up, ladies. Keep it up. So one of the things, as far as that transition, right? So you said, did you play any other sports while you were in high school? Or college?
I ran track.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was mainly track and football.
Okay.
So, but other than that, I love football.
Yeah.
I still love football. I wish I would have actually went through and played it. But,
sure.
Bodybuilding gave me the opportunities to take every talent that I have to put it in one thing. So
Yes.
I do mix music.
Okay.
And that's a part of bodybuilding if, you guys don't know. And I love performing. I love dancing. So
all right.
I do my performance on stage. I got hired many times as a guest poser for amateur shows. And yeah, so it allowed me to bring everything in together and become one,
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Because when you gotta be careful because the ladies might go crazy, right? When you say you're a dancer, when you say you're a dancer,
he's like, I know, I was thinking the same thing. You're like, so are you for hire or how do we get in touch with you? There's a bachelorette party coming up. When you think of bodybuilding, Or I'm sorry, you had a different phrasing of it. You had mentioned body artist.
I'm what I am as a personal trainer that a lot of people say I'm a body transformation artist.
Okay.
And what that is I don't want to just take you to the gym and make you sweat and make you feel like you're getting in shape.
Yeah.
I want to take your physique from where it is to where you want it to go to the best of its genetics.
Yes.
And that comes with dieting and the right the nutrition and the weight training, the combination of the pair of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of people know that, like bodybuilders, if you really look at them, we can take our physique 16 weeks and change it to where we want it to go. So we can get down to like 3% body fat just with diet and weight training.
Wow.
And not knocking other nutritionists, but that's what we do. And a lot of it's bro science, but at the end of the day,
bro science, I love that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what we do. I can change my physique in a week.
Do you only work with? Do you work with both men and women?
Yeah, I work with men and women, kids, elderly people. I recently had a gentleman who had kind of a heart attack, and his doctor told him that if he was not training with me, if he wasn't doing the physical activity, he probably would have died.
Oh wow!
He called me up and he told me that, and I was like, that was the best out of all my careers of training people, just to hear that come from an individual.
Man,
so.
Thank God he's still here.
Changing lives. And
I think the nutrition piece comes a lot with it. We do have to give a shout out. Rhonda Stramel says, welcome, Rob. She's from Fort Worth, Texas.
Hi,
Checking
Rhonda.
in. She's looking at the guns as well, too. Dora Cedeno says, she says hi. As well as Primo Cruz says hello. And Violeta Lopez is checking in as well, too.
Violeta.
So, with the transformation, piece, I gotta transform myself sometimes, but don't go all the way I want to, right? a lot of it comes with control. But during that phase of when you were actually in high school, college, and you wanted to become a bodybuilder, during that time, or did you work with different trainers when you were actually going through the whole phase of growing up from college, and then said, hey, after that, I need specific trainers to be able to help me?
No, actually, as a matter of fact, when I got into the sport itself, I didn't know anything about it. I did a lot of reading. One of my best bodybuilders of all time is Lee Haney.
Okay.
I went to a store, bought his book, and started reading through it. I actually started training before I even became certified.
Okay.
And the only reason I got certified is because in order for you to work in a facility, you have to have certification. So I trained for many years without certification at all. And I just got it just to have the paper. But I taught myself everything. Everything that I do is trial and error.
My man. And it shows where I guess it's discipline, right? A lot of it's discipline.
It's a lot of discipline. It's a lot easier than what people think it is.
Yeah.
People say, I struggle to lose weight. I tried everything. Well, my opinion is if you tried everything, then you will be where you want to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think for the most part, if we figure out your genetics, and that's where I come into play. I figure out your genetics and what your body changes to, and then we just go with that and make it easier for you.
Yeah.
So let me get this clear. So as a female, because we know we always have something we complain about, or we want to work on. So when we walk in and say, because you mentioned sculpting and this, and artwork to getting the body where you want it. When we walk in and say, okay, I want my body to look like this, I want it to look like that. Do you say, okay, here's what you need to do, or do you consult on that, or this is what actually should happen, or
what I basically
what does that conversation look like?
Well, what I'll do is I'll look at their physique for first and foremost and see if they have been active, and if you haven't been active, you can't go from 0 to hero like overnight,
right.
And that's what a lot of people want.
Right.
And so what I do is I look at their frame and I say, well, you can't look like this person because your shape is completely different. But what I can do is, again, take your physique from where it is to the best of your genetics.
Yeah.
And, if a person have absolutely no hips, I'm not going to grow hips. You're not going to grow hips. I can grow a butt, just saying, but I can't grow hips. And if a person have really wide shoulders, I can't bring your shoulders in. But we can change your physique and make it look the best that it can. So that's what I always tell my clients.
I'm sorry.
You see how that conversation can go? Because That's why I asked it, because like sometimes
I don't know
women,
why I want to laugh on
you
that
know, they
one.
might say, okay, I want to look like this person. And you're like,
Right.
okay, well, you know, I'm not magical.
Well, typically what I do is I'll find a picture that a person that's shaped like them.
Okay.
And I'll say, this is what I can make you look like.
Right.
And then we can go from there. But
Yeah,
it's going to
because-
take a lot of hard work with diet.
Because the media tells us what we're supposed to look like sometimes, and you know, women are so individually beautiful.
Right.
It's about, you know, enhancing what your current body is to make that to the best of its
Right, most
abilities.
definitely, most
I love
definitely.
that, and it wasn't a hot seat question.
No, bring it on.
But the media will make us feel like we have to look a certain way, and if
Right,
you don't
right,
match
right.
that,
Right.
then you just want to go hide in your closet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, well,
So-
there's different, all you know, shapes, forms, sizes, and all of that stuff,
most
and you have
definitely.
to be able to transform. However, that person is actually supposed to look fit, you know, for them.
From them,
I mean,
yeah.
you talk about wide shoulders, right? And you're like, maybe it's just the bone. It's the bone structure. You can't
Right.
chisel the bones down, right? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
there's only a certain way you can go. And a person that don't have any hips, you know, you can't grow the hips unless something magical happens, right?
Right.
In regards to that, so.
Well, he's not and I love that conversation because he's like, you know, he's not a surgeon.
Right,
You know,
right,
he's,
right,
he's
right.
a trainer.
But see,
But
the-
you know, men too. I'm sure men come in and say, okay, I want my, you know, back to look like X, Y, Z. And,
Right. Well,
you know,
yeah, I have a lot of guys, especially, you know, around my age, they come in and they say, well, I want to look like you. And I'm like, well, what have you been doing?
Right.
You know, I drink beer after I work out. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to work. So,
Right.
but I would tell them the same way. I say, we'll find a picture that fits your structure, and then we'll work with that. Now, with the wide shoulders, we can, like I said, I'm a body transformation artist. What I do is I can make certain body parts stand out so your shoulders don't look as wide. So that's where, you know, the artists come into play. So.
oh, you know, yeah,
I
I like
think-
that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either, but I'm getting excited because you know I gotta hit the training room again.
Sorry,
so-
Rhonda says, I gotta go to a comment. Rhonda says, I might need a trainer.
See what-
Rhonda, me too, girl. Me too. I think I need a trainer.
That'll be in trouble.
no, I mean, well, you know, it comes with the business,
Yeah, it
right? It,
does,
comes
it
with
does,
the
it
business.
does,
You know,
it
I
does.
mean, everything costs a price.
Oh
you know?
man, we
I mean,
struggle. You
there's
try to
no
do it
com-
for yourself. You're like on for 30 days, and then you just give up. The Twinkies just call you.
Right.
They're like, we
yeah.
missed you for the last
so,
month.
Speaking of Twinkies, so I do like them, right? I mean, I like
I do
donuts too, man. I love donuts. I think that's one of my my horror standpoint of eating sugar donuts.
That's
and,
your kryptonite.
Oh man, so but you know I try to take it easy on that. Everything is about when you were actually and I'm the reason why I keep going back to like your college days and what you've been studying. A lot of it comes with control of the mindset of what
Right.
to eat and how to actually stay on top of it.
Right.
It's very hard to actually, I would just say for myself, when you get into that level of knowing that, hey, if I have a good metabolism where I can burn food, then I can eat whatever I want to and burn it off. Because we like dancing, right? Because,
right.
you know, she was my dance partner and right? So we used to get out there, we used to dance, you know, just sweat up some stuff, right?
Right.
But what happens is
We were in our
that
20s though too.
but it shouldn't matter, right? It shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, salsa dancing keeps us young, right? And what happens is that, you know, that mind control is saying, you know, you need to be careful about what you eat, right? What do you tell people when it comes to mind control, when it comes to eating food that you shouldn't eat or you should be in control of?
Well, see, I always give people an option. Like I would tell them, you know, you can get in shape eating a lot of different things that are not really good for you.
Okay.
But are you going to be healthy in the long run? And that's the difference between eating healthy food and eating non-healthy foods. Because
Let's pause there for a second. Eating stuff that is not really good for you. I've heard that before when people refer to like dirty keto.
Yeah.
And some diets like that
I don't
where
believe in none of that stuff. Yeah.
where they say like, you know, it's not really healthy for the body. It's effective. You'll lose
Right.
the weight, but long term, is it healthy for you?
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not going to dog any style of dieting or anything like that because that's not what I do. But
Right.
like the vegan portion of it, when you have a lot of soy, And my beliefs in soy is soy in men causes estrogen buildup and it causes cancer in women if you consume so much of it. It's from what I understand.
Sure.
Okay.
And so when you see certain vegans, and don't get mad at me, vegans,
right?
they're like, some of them are overweight because they eat so many carbs.
Right.
And one of the nutrients that you can live without is carbs. You have to have fat and you have to have protein in order to survive. We can live without carbs.
Right.
Period.
See, and I think that's kind of where we're confused because
Right.
like carbs and fat aren't always the same thing, right?
It's not the same thing, but you know, my way of training is what I tell people. I say you either eat carbs or you either eat fat.
Okay.
And for me, when I dieted for the last competition that I did, primarily my diet was protein and fats. I love fats. I love beef. I'm just saying. So I eat a lot of beef.
Yeah.
And I didn't eat a lot of carbs. I don't like carbs. Make me sleepy. I just fall asleep
sluggish
everywhere. Yeah,
and-
I don't feel good at all. But I would do this thing called a carb cycle. And what a carb cycle is you eat like 3 days. And it's not like a fad diet. It's just a carb cycle. You eat like 3 days, you eat low carbs. The fourth day, you eat really high carbs. And then the next 2 days, you eat low carbs. And the last day, you eat as many carbs as you can. Now, what that does is it tricks your metabolism.
Okay.
So it keeps your body burning.
I see.
Did everybody write down that tip?
So we need to understand. So let's define what carbs. So in your case, when you're eating, what do you eat to keep that standard there?
The carbs?
Yeah, the carbs.
The carbs are like probably jasmine rice, sweet potato, white potato. I don't really eat a lot of pasta because it makes me bloat.
See,
personally.
I think carbs, that's the first thing I think of is pasta.
Yeah, pasta
and rice.
It doesn't make me feel good at all. So
Okay.
that's one reason why what I do is I figure out what works for a person's body, and then we eliminate things that doesn't work well
Right.
for them.
Okay. So not all carbs are created equal. They
No,
don't affect you
no.
the same way.
Everybody's body is different. Like
okay.
a lot of people can't eat as much fat as I do in order to get as lean as I did for my competitions. I didn't realize that until the last 2 years maybe.
Okay.
That fat was my friend personally.
Yeah.
I was more consumed about the protein, having high protein and low carbs and low fat and everything. But then I got really skinny. So then I realized that fat actually helped my hormone level. I was able to lift heavy all the way through my prep for my competitions, and you know, last 3 shows I did this year, I did really well. So.
Wow, it's like when you hear him talk, it's so being in tuned with your own body. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of us just don't have that know-how to really listen to our bodies I respond when I eat rice, I feel like this. When I eat pasta, I feel like this. We do notice certain like things, but to be that in tune is amazing. And this is kind of what you teach, right?
Yes, yeah, most definitely. Because, you know, I don't want to make it hard. I don't want to make it work. I don't want to call it a diet either. I call it a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you, I like sweets.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little Debbie king. I'll eat it, and then I'll feel like crap for 2 days, and then I'll go back to doing what I need to do. But for me, I know how to balance things out. You know, if I ate that one day, I'll go back and correct it with, you know, the better foods.
Which do you like better, a cheat meal or a cheat day?
I like a cheat day.
Oh yeah, baby! I got somebody. Hey, you gotta give me this. Hey, give me a
That's a great question. That's a great question.
That is a loaded
Get
question.
that out the way, man. Because
I like a cheat day.
There you go.
day?
That's my guy, man.
If you're gonna enjoy eating something, do it the whole day. But then you know,
But
if
the
you
meal
know
is
you was
gonna
messing
ruin
up
the
all
whole-
week, don't do that.
Right,
I'm just saying.
That is a lot of pressure to decide on one meal.
You know,
Yeah.
So
right,
maybe the
right.
day is better. So
Yeah.
Let the day go.
Right.
Just leave the day alone. Leave
You're
the day
like-
alone, and just my day. Right.
Yeah, you know, I tell my clients too. I said, you know, if you do the carb cycle, because Sunday is primarily when I do my high carbs. Let's say you can go out with your family,
Yep.
especially if they're doing contests. If
Yep.
I have people doing contests, go out with your family and eat.
Yep.
Enjoy
Sunday
it. Don't-
dinners.
Don't stress out about it. Just eat
Yep.
and relax. And most of them enjoy it. Some of them like, I can't eat this way through the week, and then they get used to it.
Yeah.
So then you get lost because right now, I've been dieting all year because I did 3 contests in a row.
Okay.
I'm kind of lost with my food as far as wanting to eat something bad. And when I do eat it bad, I feel really bad. So I'm back on eating really clean foods again.
Sure.
Because my goal this year coming up is to compete in the Wings of Strength here in Chicago.
All right.
It's a pro show. So it's going to
Okay.
be my first one. And I think I'm getting ready for it.
My
So
man.
we'll see what happens.
My man.
take us through your first competition.
Can we go to comments real quick?
Oh,
yeah, 'cause-
okay.
yeah, she's
Okay.
getting excited too. Okay, so We got people. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Patricia Escobar says, thank you, Daisy. She said, Rico, you look great. You're dancing and also make you physically fit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No wonder why he wanted to go to comments.
Salsa does love it. Right. Patricia Escobar says, good nutrition, hard work, patience, dedication are keys to getting where you want to be. I believe in that too. As well,
Patty.
Too.
I see you, girl. I see your postings. She's another one. She loves.
She's on CrossFit.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
She looks amazing, and you could see the results. I admire her because she stayed on it. You know, girl,
focused.
3 weeks with me, I'm just like, forget it.
I'm going back to pasta. Right. Judge John says, great show. Thank you, Judge John. Thank you so much for checking in. John T for free. I think I need me one of those lifestyle changes. We got R. Almeida 76 said, it's a mindset, self-control, dedication, slow pace changes that stick and become habits. That's all on the all or nothing mindset trips people up. And you know, that's a good point as well too. And then Patty Escobar says, she says, you can still have a healthy cheat day. People put too much emphasis on what they cannot eat. So those are really good points because it's a mindset, right?
It
But
does.
it's also your metabolism and what you're able to. Some people burn faster than others.
But she's right, though. If you get in your head about it, then you're stressing yourself out about it, which also triggers, from what I understand, high blood pressure and the weight gain.
Up and so most definitely, a lot of people like. My business, war against weakness. So it's war against weakness. So the mind is stronger than what you think it is.
Yeah.
Now, once you start thinking about things too much about, okay, I can't eat this food, then you're going to want to eat it. So the more you think about something that you can't do, you're going to want to do it.
Yes.
So we just have to change your mindset, most definitely.
Yeah, I think for that, I think that's where the mind comes into play of, which goes into our next segment of the competition piece. But I think it's more of that daily routine when you have a schedule and you stick to it, where it becomes natural as like a habit, right? It becomes natural for you, and you say, hey, you know what? I can continue to do that. This is one thing that I've always heard in motivational speaking. I love when I'm working out to hear motivational speaking and things like that. But one thing that always stuck to me, they say, hey, you know, working out, it's a lifestyle. Right. And when it's a lifestyle, it's a fun lifestyle. It doesn't have to be like horrible. Right.
Well, it's making time for it, too. You know, I'm a mom, you know, with kids and schedules. And, you know, my kids have music 3 days a week. They have gymnastics, 2 days a week. Yeah. You know, so it's kind of like organizing and finding that time to prepare and put some actual attention on it.
Yeah.
And I love when you said that you try to make it easy so it doesn't feel like it's so much work.
Yeah.
And I think that's the defeat part where they're just like, forget it.
It is because, like the first 2 shows that I did Mr. Universe, the first show I did this year, and then I did North American. Okay. And I stressed about them. It was the first time I ever really stressed about shows. Wow. The last show that I did, I was like, whatever happens. But I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I ended up winning. So it goes to show you that just putting your mind to something or stressing out about things that haven't happened, you got to let that go and just enjoy the process,
Yeah.
Can we go back to my question now?
Yeah, so she definitely wants to ask you a question. Go right ahead, Valerie.
So I wanted to ask him, take us back to your first competition.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? Do you remember that anticipation, like how it felt, and did it live up to your expectation?
The first competition I did, I had no clue what I was doing. There's like oil that you put on bodybuilders that's not baby oil, and I went up there with baby oil on me. I had these giant posing.
You wouldn't know that. I thought it was baby oil.
I didn't know anything. I mean, I got advice from certain people from gyms, from the gym that I was going to at the time. It was World's Gym, and then a friend of mine, kind of showed me her video, Trixie. She showed me the video of her competing before me. I had a friend, her name was Charlie, who had won second place in her first show. So I was like, I can do that. And I took pictures of myself against magazines with oil all over me, thinking I was cool. And I went up to the show by myself. I actually caught a train. It was here in Chicago. It was the Ironman.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I caught a train here. And I got to the show. I didn't know what to expect. I showed up and I did the first portion of the show and didn't realize that there's a morning show and a night show. So I was stuck in Chicago by myself all day. So I met some friends. We went out and I went and ate a gyro sandwich. Because I didn't know anything about bodybuilding at that time.
Right.
But then I came back and I got second place and I was like, wow, this is cool. I was happy with that. But then a gentleman walked up to me and said, you would have won your class if you would have been tan. And I was like, what does that mean? I'm black. I was thrown. So after that, I got the bug and then I competed. And I didn't compete to become a pro. At that time, I competed just because it was something to do. And it was something different for me to do. And from that point, like the last maybe 5 years, I really dug deep into trying to become a pro. Yeah. And to do it my way, because I'm more into herbs instead of, a lot of different supplements and things like that. So
was it after that one you felt like you should take it more seriously? Because you sound like at first you were like, let's just try this out.
No, it became we had a group of people at World's Gym in Waukegan that a lot of people competed, and I just decided to do it for fun because I was bored. I was a young father. I went to work, I came home. I went to work, I came home, and I was like, well, I got to find something else to do. I'm gonna go crazy. And so going to the gym and starting to do these shows, and I started winning like almost every show that I got in, not really knowing what I was doing. So then as I progressed and I started learning more, my knowledge of competing and dieting and everything else become enhanced. But of course, I did start training. Like I said, I started training right when I started competing. So I just jumped right in, feet first, and it's been a blast, man. It's been a blast.
You the bomb, bro. You the bomb. So Rhonda from Fort Worth, Texas. I guess I have to continue to say that, like even Fort Worth, Texas, right? Because we'll let people know. She said, "What's the best way to keep metabolism up when you're older?"
One of the things that, and I tell a lot of people, your metabolism slows down, but it doesn't slow down to a point where you're gonna get fat. It doesn't. Right. I think what it is if you look at it, if you think about you being a younger, an adult or a teenager or whatever, you're very active. Right. And as we get older, we become more responsible and we start working and we're sitting at a desk all day, and then we got kids and we're eating things that we normally wouldn't eat or we would eat. So if you were burning a lot of calories at a younger age, eating 1,000 calories for whatever, and then you're eating the same amount of calories, but you're doing less activities, of course, you're going to put on weight. Right. It is what it is. And I think that's what causes people to think that their metabolism is slowing down as they get older. It's primarily because they're not using enough energy to get rid of the same calories that they're eating. So therefore, if you decide not to do any activity, you're going to have to bring down your food intake. It is what it is.
Yeah. That's a good answer. That's a good
Great answer.
We got New York.
So it does. I'm sorry. Let me clarify.
Right. Sorry.
Because you hear this a lot, right? How your metabolism slows down so much as you get older. So if I'm hearing this right, it's not that it slows down. It slows down, but not to the point where they will cause you to gain weight.
Right.
Well, it's just you need to take into account if your eating habits are changing as you get older.
Well, I mean, obviously your metabolism slows down as we get older, but it's not going to make you obese. Put it that way. Okay. So what it is like I said, if you're eating, 1,500 calories a day at, 18, and then you're eating 1,500 calories a day at 40, and at 18 you was going to dance, you was partying, you was doing all these things that causes you to burn calories. But then as you become 40 or whatever, and you're not doing any of those activities, but you're still eating the same amount of calories, you're not burning anything off. So it just goes hand in hand. If you want to eat the same way as you did when you were younger, you're going to have to keep up with the activity. Not the same activity, but you can do something else like walk outside. I'm a big believer of just walking outside versus doing the treadmill inside, running on the treadmill or all this other harsh stuff that's probably going to be harder on your joints as you do get older.
True.
So.
Especially with, and also, the shoes that you used to wear back in the day versus what shoes you're going to be wearing, as you get older, has a big difference in regards to the way you walk and how you walk on concrete. Like, back in the day when I used to play ball on concrete, it's like, man, I got to stop doing that or my knee's going to start messing with me. But sure enough, when you continue to play, you can't do it as much. Because back then I used to play on concrete all day, every day. Outside, let's get it on, right?
You're more durable.
And then, of course, you're coming back in the inside, that's where the wood helps out a lot. But it also depends on the gym shoes as well. So
Right.
you know that's a big. I got to give a big shout out to my man NY Joe Salcedo.
Joe Salcedo.
Yeah, Joe Salcedo. Make sure you guys check him out. He put a link out there, nyjoesalsa.com. Get that salsa music and all whatever he got going on there. Make sure you take that in consideration. Rhonda, yes, I hope he answered your question. So yeah, keep the questions keep going, everybody, because you already know we got the guns in the house.
Guns, baby.
Guns, we got the guns. Yes. So you know there is when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to you working out, and you kind of answered the question before in regards to the transformation of when you look at someone and says, okay, this person is breathing too hard. We got to work on that, right? Or this person actually,
your breath
we
a little
can
bit
tell
more.
that he loves cheeseburgers, right? And go from there. But then that person that has that habit that needs to break that habit, what type of homework do you give people?
Well, basically what I tell them is like we talked about before with the carbs and the fats.
Yeah.
Your body going to utilize one or the other, and it's going to store if you overeat.
Right.
So what I tell people is like if you I'm not telling you to go to McDonald's or whatever have you, but if you go, then have that burger but don't have those fries.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a lot of fat in that burger, but you're also going to have carbs with that bun.
Right.
So I try to guide them away from it. So gradually just start pulling things away and start replacing them with different things if you can.
Yeah.
And again, certain people have genetics where they can eat certain things, like
And
they can
still
eat the
be
burger
skinny.
and the
I know.
fries and still be skinny.
Yeah.
That's a genetic gift.
Yeah.
But then there's people who come to me and say, well, I'm really skinny. I need to put on weight, but I can't put on weight. So, I have to find different foods that are higher in calories for them to eat. So it's all about figuring out people's bodies to
Yeah, but you know what? Skinny people can have heart attacks too.
Well,
So I don't think it's always healthy.
Well, it's not. The genetic part of being skinny, but
Right.
healthy wise, and that proves a point.
Yeah.
Like, you can eat like really low calories or whatever, or you can eat like I don't want to get dog, but like a vegan and have all of these high soy in your foods. I mean, there's good people who can design a diet for you that's a vegan. But to eat certain things that is going to be really bad for you in the long run, and like I was saying before, like eating, you can lose weight eating McDonald's, Burger King, and all this other stuff if you did it the right way. But if you want to be healthy, you're going to have to change the foods. It is what it is.
Right.
And that shows the point with that. So
Yeah.
I
Do you
agree.
think meal prepping for McDonald's is good?
no, not at all.
Just want to get that out the way for everybody.
And I'm thinking, how do you meal prep?
That one. Nope, I didn't say it.
I'm thinking, how do you meal prep for McDonald's? Like McDonald's is always like that last minute solution.
I just had to throw that out.
Right,
there.
it's
trying to meal prep.
so we're gonna have McDonald's on Thursday. So yeah, I mean, to that point, I think that, and I was mentioning too, kind of like how society takes a play on what your body is supposed to look like. Obviously, you want to be fit and healthy, but I think there's that kind of misconception that if you are a thinner-bodied person, that you're automatically healthier, and
And you're not.
that's not always the case.
I think that's just more of an appearance type deal, right?
It
So I
is.
think it's more of, oh, well, he's been slim for the rest of his life, and next thing you know, he has a heart attack, right? Or he catches a disease, right? Or something just happens to that person because of what they ate, or also over time, I'm guessing the hiccups right now. I'm getting hungry. So there might be times where, you might think that, man, you know what? That food that I ate was really good. It was healthy. Is there too much of
A good thing?
no, like anything. Like somebody can really love soybean burgers, or they might like a certain type of like orzo pasta, or they might like a certain like realm, and they just say, I want to stick to this schedule each week. Does that hinder someone in regards to long term of just trying to keep saying that they want to stay healthy.
Oh, I see
but
what you're saying. Like if you do the boiled chicken, like, and you have it all 5 days.
Yeah, something like that.
Does that
staying consistent? You know how the meal prep, they might
Yeah.
meal prep the same thing for the whole week. Is that good?
You know,
I mean, in your eyes. I mean,
in my eyes,
Yeah.
I think it's a way for people to have control of what they're eating.
Okay.
If they can tolerate eating the same thing every day, which when I prep for a show, normally I would kind of do that too.
Okay.
It makes it easier, and you don't have to think about it.
Sure. Right.
But then also when I design diets for my clients in the app that I have, what I do is I'll create them 3 meal plans.
Okay.
And so what I do is it'll be the same amount of calories, protein, carbs, and fats, or what have you. You can take, like, for meal 1, you can take breakfast. For meal 2, you can take lunch. For meal 3, you can take dinner, or you can flip-flop it. So you'll have something different every time.
Yeah.
So you don't get stuck into that routine. But a lot of people say, well, I want to eat the same thing every day because I don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
So then I say, go for it. If you can tolerate it. But then, you got Mrs. Dash.
Yeah.
And so you can change up that chicken with Mrs. Dash.
Right.
You can change it up a little bit, but I think it's more of a control thing. And if you have a lot more control over your meal plan or your meal prep, and you don't have to think about it because we all are busy.
Yep.
That is probably the easier way to go.
I do have a question again from Miss Rhonda. She has said, can hormones have an impact on weight gain, or is that a myth?
I think it can. Most definitely. I think for me, like I think my hormones are more or less regulated, and most people are from when I personally eat beef. Mm-hmm. Like I feel my muscles get bigger. I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm more energetic versus eating pasta or.
Is that a mental thing that you tell yourself so you can keep the
I
beef
love
going?
beef. I love beef though.
Me too. Me too. I love beef too.
I love beef.
I love beef too. I
lamb,
mean,
man.
like,
I love lamb,
But no,
man.
it actually makes me feel really good. I
Okay.
actually get warm and I feel really good. I think certain foods will trigger certain people's hormones.
You have a connection with meat.
Right.
Yeah. I love meat. I don't eat pork though.
Yeah,
I don't.
me neither.
I don't eat pork.
not as much.
Yeah, but beef I love, and it makes me feel good.
Yes.
And at the same time, I actually look good, and I don't get sick. So, I did have an experience when I decided to buy some cheaper beef.
Yeah.
And I can feel that it was bad.
Oh,
yeah,
I
I can
see.
feel the mucus build up. I can feel it. It's like really bad. So.
Well, I think your
Wow.
body gets used to certain foods that you eat,
Right.
and
Right.
also the processing of foods.
Right.
Of not everything is natural,
It's
right?
not.
And it's processing.
Right.
But I got to get to this next question. We're at 12:55 right now. So of course, we got to congratulate you for being Mr. USA. Right? We got to congratulate you, and we got to congratulate you for being Mr. Titan as well too. Everybody, make sure you clap out there. So being able to get these medals, and you kind of talked about, well, I just went out there and I just did my thing.
Ryan, this is so
and I just-
casual.
and I just-
I didn't mean it like that.
No, like you didn't stress yourself out. That's what I guess that's where we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Where like the other ones, you did pay attention to what you had to be able to do to prepare for it.
Right.
But this one's like, listen, man, if I'm going to get in there, if I'm going to actually do it, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it and see how it works out.
Well, briefly, I want to say one thing.
Sure.
Like the first competition, my mom was sick, and I spoke
Yes,
to
sir.
you about it, and
Yes,
she
sir.
ended up with the coronavirus.
Yes, sir.
And she had cancer, so they gave her 6 months to live. So in the process of it, and the reason why, because I was invited to the show before,
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the show because I flew back. And I had to go right to her funeral because she ended up passing not in 6 months, but I think it was like maybe 6 days.
Oh,
So
wow.
and then when I
sorry.
flew out to go visit her before she passed, I ended up with the coronavirus. So it flipped me out because I didn't know what was happening because I never get sick.
Sure.
And I started having panic attacks. I couldn't get in cars. I couldn't get in plane, and I had to drink NyQuil to fly back from Georgia to Chicago.
Oh, my goodness.
I literally had to make myself
fall asleep
on
Yeah.
the plane to get back. But so then, I knew my mom was my biggest fan because I
Yes.
talked to her 3 times a day, every day
Yes,
while I was
sir.
at work.
Yes, sir.
And so I knew the last show that I had this year, which I almost didn't do. And one of my daughters told me, her name is Chantel, she said, Dad, you told me that you were going to keep going until you got your pro card. And that lit a fire into my butt, as well as my mom. I know my mom wanted me to get that pro card.
Yes, sir.
And so I did it for them too. And I just, just mellowed out and said, I'm just going to do it and just cruise through it. And it actually worked. I had a lot of fun. So.
Well, we definitely have to say, congratulations. But it was a gift and also, like you said, a kick in the butt for your mom and also for your daughter. Because, 9 times out of 10, there's all signs to be able to say, son, I want you to continue to do what you love to do, and what I have you on this earth to do is to be successful. And that's why moms is such an important flavor of the world, because they actually put what we call sabor. We actually put that flavor. Moms put that flavor in there to say, hey, you better put that sazon, that seasoning on that metal, because you know what? You have the flavor to be able to do so. And that was a gift as far as from your mom to you and back to your mom as well, too, because you definitely made Mr. USA. And I'm so proud to actually, have you on the show, as far as my co-host, Valerie Malesio. And it's such a great thing to actually have that, have that gift, right? Have that medal. And this is something that's going to last forever. Right. I mean, it's not just a memory. It's actually, a stance of saying that, hey, I can do this, and I'm going to continue to influence others as well, man. So congratulations. Man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Also, congratulations, because we have a shirt for you.
Hey now.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it. What?
Now, you might have to cut the sleeves off.
Okay. So here's the thing. So I was going to bring you guys shirts.
Okay.
But I've never met y'all, so I didn't know what size to bring. I was going to hook y'all up with some War Against Weakness gear.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to still get you.
Yeah, I got you, man. Hey,
I love that.
This shirt, you might bust out of it, but that's okay. Show us what you really feel,
You got to cut the sleeves up. We understand.
Right.
Got to let the guns breathe.
I got to wear it tight. I'm just saying.
But we want to thank you, man. Thank you for being on the show today, man. This shirt just tells us exactly what you are as a gem of the world, but also things that you have accomplished and things as far as you transforming other people to be better in this world through health and also through fitness. So welcome to the show, my man.
That's what's up. Appreciate it. Yeah. Well, can I get a quick shout out for myself?
Of course,
absolutely.
Man.
Well, if you guys are looking for a trainer, body transformation artist,
let's put this.
You can go to www.athletics.com.
Oh, athletics.com. So yes. We do also have WAW Enterprise.com.
That's my business now.
That's your business.
So my personal training service is WAW Athletics.
Athletics. Okay. Got it.
WW Athletics.
WAW.
Oh,
WAW.
War Against Weakness.
War Against Weakness, athletics.com. So WAW athletics.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
That's what's up.
And it sounds like a great plan, too. You said nutrition.
I do everything.
Body.
I do online training through an app. And I also do in-house personal training. So if you can't come to the studio, I can train you online. I have a lot of online clients.
Okay.
That I actually train for competitions as well as, at-home moms and what have you. So
yeah. Man, you're doing great things, man. I'm just so happy. We actually put your business name, WAW Beast, IFBB Pro. We actually have that so people can follow you as well, too, on Instagram. So if they want to DM you or, find out more about you, they can also, direct message you as well and get all of the information as well. So, WAWathletics.com is where it's at. And also, my man, IFBB Pro, Rob Rough Cut Brown on Facebook. Rough Cut. Right, Rough Cut. Right. I'm a Rough Rider. I don't want to say Rough Rider.
So if you want to get rough cut too, make sure you contact Rob.
Come holler at me.
That's my guy, man. That's my guy. So, Rob, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, man. It was a pleasure to actually have you here, talk about your journey. We're definitely going, if you ever need us to go out to any of your events to actually do a live show, just let us know. We're here, man. We're here. We'll come out. And you're based out of Waukegan, right?
Yeah.
I'm
out of Waukegan.
You're in Waukegan. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's only
Waukegan, but he's virtual. So
yeah.
You can still get on a program and work out with them.
Well, us going out there too, right? Yeah. So if we want to go out to Waukegan, we'll come and check you out, do something live as well. Maybe, do some transformation while we're out there,
That's what's up.
We want to work. We got to work on the guns.
All right, before we get going, everybody, once again, put your hands together for my man, Rob Brown.
Woo!
Yeah. All right, before we get out of here, we want to also thank Skippy, man. Thank you for our supporter for actually Skippy. For actually being with us as far as on the show. If you bring the camera to, there you go. And also RX Water, everybody, RX Water. Thank you guys for your support. RX Water, we appreciate you guys for actually supporting the Rico No Suave Show. So make sure you guys go and check that RX water out. It's really good.
You can have some Skippy and wash it down with the RX water.
Yeah, right? I think that'd be awesome. That'd be great. That'd be great. So we got to get out of here, everybody. I want to thank you guys so much for actually being a part of the Rico No Suave Show today. If you love this show, everybody, make sure you continue to give us some love and make sure you share our social media with everyone. Also, don't forget, everyone, you can check us out on our Instagram right there under my title at Rico No Suave Show. Make sure you please go ahead and follow us. Tell everybody about us, and we will tell everybody about you and how well you are. Yes. Next week, everybody, we got another great show. We got my man, Sir Royce Briales. He's going to be talking about fatherhood and what fatherhood really means to a lot of the fathers and also to the mothers that's out there. So we're going to be talking about his organization next week here on the Rico No Suave Show. We're going to be here same time, same salsa, Latin channel as always, everybody. So once again, I want to thank you guys for being a part of the show. And don't forget, continue to support us each and every day. I'll see you guys next week with my co-host, Valerie Malesio, as we end off the show. Just like this.
Over? I don't think so. Yo, party people, we gotta keep this thing going. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the end. We'll be back with more special guests every Saturday, right here at the Rico No Suave Show. Same Rico No Suave time, same Rico No Suave website. Got it.